What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Morello Show. I believe this is number 5. I almost lost track for a second. It's fine. Um, I'm Kyle Morello, your host, as always. With me today, another very, very, very special guest, my brother, not my actual brother, but my brother, Justin Harrison, aka JJH. Justin, how are we?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself, brother man?
I'm doing all right. We got a sunny day here in West Michigan. I can't complain. So we
Honestly,
are.
it was a little drowsy out here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was on the phone with mom today. She was saying it's like 50 and cloudy or something like that.
Yeah, it
Not
was
great.
not a great day for content, but we make it work.
That's one of those days where you can kind of just stay inside, maybe record some music, maybe mix, maybe do a little all
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
sir. You
right.
already know.
Well, there we go. So going into that, as we know, JJH is an artist. He's not just an artist, he's also a producer, mix and master, all that. So Justin, my first question is, I know obviously you've been doing artistry for a while.
Mhm.
And we can get into the origins of that a little bit later. But how did you like when did you decide you also wanted to get into like production and mixing and stuff like that?
That was probably I'd say senior year. So like I've
Okay.
always been into music since like I could even maybe like third grade. I'd probably say
Damn.
like third grade, like way back. Played violin, played saxophone, stuff like that. Was always into music, but it didn't hit me until like senior year after I stopped playing football and stuff like that, that I really wanted to pursue music. And I really got tired of going to other people's studios or, other engineers taking forever for my stuff or it just not sounding how I wanted it to. I just started learning by myself, learned online, learned engineering, and then later on went to school for it. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. I mean, that's the way to do it. YouTube, honestly, I feel like I mean, I'm not trying to discredit college at all. Like there's a lot of benefits of college, but
Right.
nowadays with the price tag of it, there's a lot of things you can learn on YouTube just by looking up videos and, just following along. Is that
Mhm.
something that like you're going to continue to do? I know you said you went to school for mixing and mastering and all that. Is that something you're going to
Yeah.
continue to do to work on your craft? Are you learning from other people? How are you continuing to like get better with that?
So honestly, like I learn every single day. Like um the saying of you learn something new every day is like honestly real in music. Like I can't explain how many times like I'll wake up in the morning, right? And we live here now. I live with Miguel and stuff like that. Um, we'll wake up and just start working on music and something I've wanted to do for like years or wanted to learn how to do, just never learned it, whether I looked up the video and just didn't get it or just forgot about it. I'll learn it that same day, like just waking up and just like out of nowhere, just teach myself how to do it. And I either do that or I'll continue to, of course, learn from YouTube, learn from other engineers such as Nick Jussitz, you know, amazing engineer. Love the
Nicky
bro.
Ra, yes. He'll have his episode. He'll have his episode in a couple weeks here. We'll get to Nicky Ra. But yeah, no, that's awesome. And I
Yeah.
know so this is something me and Miguel talked about last week. Like the connections that you guys have kind of made. Like kind of talk me through that. Like how have you because obviously I could let you talk about Philly creators too. We can get into that in a second. And you, Miguel, and some other people we know from our area, from
Right.
Lansdale, are involved in that. But how did you kind of connect with other people from Philly to get that going?
Honestly, social media. Social media was probably the best tool that I use personally. I stay by myself for the most part, or usually around the close people around me, my family, I would call them. And social media, just reaching out to people, DMing people, showing people your work, saying, hey, can I email you something, some music, maybe you'd be interested to hop on, or maybe you have some clothing ideas, something like that, anything, a dance, TikTok, just reaching out to people is very easy. Some people leave you on red, is what it is, go on to the next person and keep trying to reach out because,
That's life.
somebody will answer you at some point.
That's
So
life.
yeah.
Yeah. The crazy. So Philly creators, it's not just artists that it's also other like musicians or dancers, video creators,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, it's basically anybody that's a creator in a sense. If you want to do TikToks, even if you do TikToks for fun and you just want a following or whatever, you might as well help out some people while you're doing it, while you just want to have fun with it. You know what I mean? Make some videos with some people that take this serious, like music, or whether they dance seriously or they do art, they draw, anything like that. You know what I mean? Um, just bring them along to the team because everyone has something to bring to the table. You know what I mean? Whether whatever they do, because There's so many creative people in Philly.
There's a
It's
lot.
ridiculous.
There's a
It's
lot.
ridiculous.
I mean, from me being there, probably a little biased, but there's like it's one of the more underrated like creator cities because everybody flocks to New York, everybody flocks to
Yeah.
LA,
Hmm.
even Miami, but like Philly's got some
Slept
people.
on.
Philly's got some
That's
people
slept
that are
on.
doing some great things, including you guys. So
Hmm.
definitely will keep that up. The other good thing about I think Philly creators too that I've noticed and obviously that I've been a part of too is sharing each other's stuff on like Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and
Yeah.
TikTok and going down the list of all the social medias. Like that's something I think obviously not that we came up with, but it's something when like you, me, Miguel, and like Patsy when we first started doing this stuff as like a group 2 years ago, it's something we pushed a lot was if
Hmm.
someone posts something, like share it to Instagram. Like it
Yeah.
takes 5 seconds. It's simple. And people really need to do that more with local artists more than like just like bigger artists. Like people will be so quick to share. I mean, I'm a huge J. Cole fan, so use an
Right.
example. J. Cole drops an album. I'm gonna be one of the first people sharing it. I love
Right.
J. Cole, but
Hmm.
like I'm also one of the first people sharing your stuff, Miguel's stuff, all that. Can you kind of talk about the importance of kind of that grassroots like system of growing yourself?
Yeah. So like that's one of the, I wouldn't say the best way of growing, but like it's the best way to start out growing. Because if you really think about it, if you sit there, which we've talked about this, of course, and if you think about it, I know certain people and you know certain people, right?
Right.
Not everybody I know follows you. Not everyone you know follows me. Okay. So if you post my stuff and I post your stuff, that's reaching out to a different audience of people that might have not seen our stuff, might not have seen my videos, my music, might have seen your videos, anything like that, your podcast. And because we're sharing it like that to my platform, it's on my platform, it's on your platform, it just helps for other people because, not everyone that follows me may love my music, but they like me as a person, right? But they might like podcasts, they might love podcasts. So they'll go through my stories because there's tons of people that watch my stories, tons of people that watch yours as well. And click through and be like, oh, podcast by Kyle Morello Show. Let me start watching this. Maybe this is a podcast I might like. And it just brings more people to your audience as well as when you share my music. What if not everyone that follows you likes podcasts, but they love music? You're sharing a whole bunch of your friends' music. They need new music to listen to, all of that. And then it's just like that. It's really easy.
Exactly. It's simple. It's simple. And the thing that I don't understand though is some people think it's like corny to like well even just like to be an artist. Like I'm sure that's something you've probably experienced too when like you first started. Like
Yeah.
people kind of be like, and this is something Miguel talked about too last week, something about like, oh, like you're like just another one of those people trying to be an artist, like you're not
Hmm.
good, like, and we have had an experience with that too, which we won't get into. But
Hmm.
but how do I digress. How do
Yeah,
you
that
kind
was
of
funny.
that was funny. How do you kind of like deal with that in terms of, pushing through and continuing to do you only the way that you know?
um, it's actually crazy because I just got off of a phone call with someone that told me I'm a person that she can see as someone that doesn't really focus too much on the other person's opinion. I really focus on what I want to do, and not in a sense of in a selfish way, but like what I want to do and my dreams and aspirations, I'm going to push for that. And if someone tells me I'm bad, but I think I'm amazing, you can't tell me any different. I'm amazing. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
there's nothing more to it. And it does take a strong mind. Of course, I have my days where, I get down because I'm human. Everyone's human, but I always try to push myself up, or I'll reach out to friends, and my friends, you as well, you know what I mean, will help me up and
Yes.
keep me going no matter what. But I'd say really just not worrying about what anybody else has to say, because everyone has, like, they have something to say at all times. Like,
Oh,
it doesn't
always.
matter what it is.
Always.
Like, it could be good, bad, in the middle, it doesn't matter. They're going to say something about it. So it's kind of like,
Unfortunately. But that's hey, I mean that's the way it goes. That's life,
yeah,
like I was
such
saying.
is life. Such
Such
is
as
life.
life. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. No, but I mean, you mentioned just a second ago, kind of like having the support system like that, especially for an artist. How important is that to have people to fall back on? One, to critique your music, especially with
Hmm.
like Miguel and Nicky Rod and all that. but
Yeah.
two, just emotionally when you have those down days and you have those naysayers saying things like that, like how important is that to keep you going?
Oh, it's probably one of the most important factors because like it's so easy to, well, not so easy. It's like such a comforting feeling to have a group that's going through the exact same thing as you. You know what I mean? And like they might be good at a certain time because, like I said, I have my ups, I have my downs, just like every other person. So they might be up and I'm feeling down, and they could just really help me up easy because they probably did feel how I felt, most likely. Or if they didn't, they can comfort me in some way, some shape or form. And it's an amazing thing, to be honest. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, it's awesome. And
Yeah.
especially me being a part of that group too, maybe not in the exact music sense, but being in that part,
Hmm.
it definitely helps having people be like, hey, like you can do this. Like this is something that you're meant to do. Like
Right.
go for it. Go for it. So it definitely helps a lot. But I do want to go circle back to something I mentioned earlier on in the show.
Hmm.
Your origins of kind of how you started being an artist too. Like when did you first say like, I want to start rapping, I want to start singing, and I want to start doing all that?
uh that was probably like probably like fifth grade. I've always been in music since
Okay.
like third grade, playing violin, stuff like that.
Right.
But it was fifth grade with my teacher, Miss Chappelle. She really sat me, she took me aside first day of school, and she told me that she was going to help me really understand how to read and write. And when I say understand, I mean to the utmost degree understand. And all year she was hounding me on like vocab words. Like I'm in fifth grade, I'm learning words I didn't know
You're
were
learning words
words.
you probably don't use right now.
Yeah, like all of that, right? So, but at the end of the day, like she really taught me how to like start writing stories and writing essays. And like when it came down to the PSSAs, I actually wrote a piece for one of the open-ended parts that was about my grandfather, and I made my teacher actually cry from it. Not Miss Chappelle, it was a different teacher. I made her cry, and like that hit home for me. I was like, wow, like I can really write. And as I kept going through the years in high school, like I continuously wrote stories, poetry, like on the side by myself, or even critical papers. Like if I didn't turn them in late, of course.
And I was on the same thing. It happens.
If I didn't turn them in late, like all my teachers, and if anybody wants to reach out to them, they can. But they even stated like I would have had an above an A, like over 100% because of how I wrote the paper, and it was just so well written. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But as far as getting into really writing, it was like fifth grade, and like writing songs too, but they were terrible back then.
But as a stepping stone, it's how you got started writing songs.
Yeah, I started really just poetry, little verses here and there, but they were terrible little elementary school rhymes.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
funny. That's funny. Oh, so when did you like seriously start like recording and like actually doing all that?
Recording, that was more towards like senior year when I linked
Okay.
up with Nikki Ra and Miguel. Both of them, we just kind of took off together, like recording together. Or even if I wasn't recording with them, I would find other friends that have studios that I would record with. And then like I said earlier, that I just kind of got tired of not having the right sound that someone else has, or you know they're just taking too long on my music, stuff like that. So I started learning myself, built up my own home studio. I like spent a whole bunch of money on some studio equipment, and then just started recording in my room, learning how to mix and master, and then kind of improved from there.
Yeah, I was gonna actually mention that home studio that you have. First of all, the new one you have at your guys' place in Philly is very, very impressive. It's even because
Thank
I've
you.
seen the one you had at your old apartment a couple years ago, and I saw
Hmm.
pictures of the one you had at your place last year.
Hmm.
Obviously, I couldn't visit because of COVID, which is pain, but
Yeah,
it's
it's all
okay.
good.
It's all good. And then now this one here, which is also impressive.
Yeah.
But you've also, on top of that, you have your own company too, GU99 Entertainment. I forget
Yes,
what was
sir.
the one. What was the one line in one of your songs? Um,
Uh,
it was tell them about you started a label. You're different
oh,
now.
uh,
Blanking right now.
I'm blanket too, and I know the
That's
lyrics.
your own song too.
There's a lot of lyrics to remember.
There's a lot of lyrics to remember.
uh,
We can
I
come
know
back
it's
to it.
from pressure.
Yeah,
It's
it's
from
from pressure.
pressure.
I know it's from pressure, but so you started your own company, G99 Entertainment, like I just said. So kind of take me through
Yeah.
that process. How did you come up with the name, the idea? What was it like getting everything done in terms of like
Mhm.
officially making it a business and stuff like that?
So, really, I'll start with the name. The name actually stands for the ground up. It's really just coming up from the ground. I was a person that, in my eyes, I saw it as I had a lot in terms of, opportunities and um, money in a sense, and just overall experience when I was younger. And that all kind of came down to a crash at some point, family issues and stuff like that. And then to me, I was like, I never want to feel like this again. I never want to be this low. Like, I don't want to be on the ground. So, like, I got to start building up. And, like, that's when I came up with the name, The Ground Up. And then I just shortened it to GU99 because that's the year I was born. Because it just made it simpler, GU99.
It's
And
catchy.
yeah, if you're a part
Catchy.
of the team, you'll understand what that stands for. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then as far as getting it official, I reached out to a company to be able to get the LLC, and an agent just walked me through everything. Very simple. I have his number to this day still. I can text him if I have any issues. Then I got my business manager and stuff like that, account manager. And yeah, they kind of just helped me through everything. I personally decided to start a business more so because I'm a hands-on learner, and I don't know necessarily everything about a business, but I'd rather have one and learn as I go than learn about it and then start one later on. You know what I mean? I feel
Fair.
like that's just wasted time at that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a learning process. I mean, you're
Yeah.
not even 22 years old yet. So
Yep. Yeah,
it's
but
definitely a learning curve, but hey, you're getting there. So GU99, take me through exactly what you guys do. I know you've got, recording sessions at the home studio in Philly.
Mhm.
Some other things kind of mixed in there too. So take me through that.
So we are building up different branches and stuff like that, but the main thing that we have, it's an entertainment company. So anything entertainment that you can think of. So if you need studio time, we have studio. Um, I can't talk. A studio here for people to record. We have videographers, photographers. So if you need any videos shot, stuff like that, we have producers. If you need a producer to send you a beat, or if you need them to come down to the studio to work on a beat with you in real time, stuff like that. We're gonna try to start clothes, and
Ooh.
yeah, clothes.
Ooh.
Clothes is gonna be a big thing. As you
Yes.
know, I love clothes,
Yeah.
fashion. That's one of my favorite things. So I definitely want to dabble with that. Talk to a couple of different designers that are not just designers that, I'm going on YouTube paying designers a whole bunch of money. Like, these are people that I know that are just automatically just creators or stuff like that. That maybe even in the Philly creators, group that we have. Like, it's
All right.
just any local creators that are artists and do anything. We try to reach out to those people more so than paying thousands of dollars for someone else that you have no clue who they are, you never met them, anything like that.
Because there's a
So
lot of
yeah,
talent, like we mentioned, in Philly creators and around Philly and all that. Like even we personally know people who even aren't in Philly creators that are great graphic design
yeah,
people, great videographers and all that.
so
So
much talent. There's
yeah,
so much talent everywhere you look. There's talent.
it's
Like,
a
I can't
lot.
tell you how many times we've even walked down in the city, like recently within the past month that we lived here, meeting new people that are either rapping down the street. They hear us rapping, like, oh, yo, like, yeah, you guys got a studio where you record stuff like that. Like, it's crazy. There's talent everywhere.
You know what that kind of reminds me of. This is a story I was going to mention last week too, but I forgot. But you were also there,
Mhm,
so this is fun. 2 years ago, it was probably around your birthday, maybe a little bit after.
mhm.
You, me, and Miguel went down to the city the one day. We copped 100 Philly soft pretzels. I know you're gonna remember this. Copped 100 Philly soft pretzels, and I was handing out. I got 100 cards, like business cards, made with Miguel's like first few songs on it, where he had that one shot in his room, and I put a
Mhm.
QR code on it with like his SoundCloud on it. And you were also handing out stuff for the show that you were had the next day with I forget the exact group or company it was with or whatever. That was
Yeah,
at the Vultures Lounge. Um, and we were giving out soft pretzels just for a SoundCloud follow or for
yep.
taking a card and all that. And that was kind of like part of our original hustle, but also speaks to just the hustle around Philly. Is like you see a lot of people doing stuff like that. That wasn't, I mean, that part of it was an original idea. Take
Mhm.
credit for it.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh. Talk heavy. Talk heavy.
hey, I don't talk heavy often, so it's all right. But there's just like there's so much of that going on in the city, and like you like the pop-up shows and all that too. Like there's
Mhm.
so much talent and so much hard work going on in the streets of Philly right there.
Mhm. Yeah, honestly. And it's like right now in these trying times with COVID, like especially with the Philly creators thing, and even when we did the pretzels, right? We're out here pushing our message in a different way because not necessarily everyone's out here doing that. You know what I mean? They are
Right.
around the world here and there, but like we bring so much attention because we're doing things that people are scared to do. People are scared to just go out and perform in front of two people. And now that you've been performing in front of these two people for like 10, 20 minutes, now there's 30 people, and now there's 60 people, now there's 100 people
Exactly.
around. You know what I mean? And like people are scared to just start from basically nothing and just go out there and just push your, if you have a message to push it. You know what I mean? Don't
The
be
only
scared.
way you're the only way you're gonna because the ultimate goal, I mean, obviously, money, fame is not the ultimate goal. It's,
No.
happiness, it's financial security, it's,
Hmm.
setting your family up. But if you want to get to all of those things, you have to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
doing street performances, handing out pretzels, getting your name out there is the perfect way to start.
Yeah. Yeah. It honestly is. It's the best way because you also get to, meet people face to face and people get to see you and see how you are as a person. You know what I mean? And you get that first impression, not a first impression off of just Instagram or social media or first impression just off of a song that you release. They get to actually see you and see who you are as a person. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And
And I
like you
think it's
said,
pretty
like
cool.
first impressions, like over social media, could be completely different than first impressions in person.
Yep.
And that's just
Yep.
with anything in life. That's not even just business, music, whatever. Like that's just with anything. Like actually getting out there, because that's all part of the process. And the one thing that I always preach to you, Miguel, Nick, anybody who wants to listen, is the process is so much more fulfilling and important, any other adjective you want to describe it, than the destination. Because obviously, like I was saying, everybody wants to get to the top, but doing the stuff in the street like you guys have been doing, like we were doing early on, and making music, and first it was your room and then like Miguel's basement, and like now,
Hmm.
your place in Philly, and so on and so forth. Like that's all part of the process. That's the fun part. Like
Yeah.
the things that I love, like, and that hopefully we'll get back to at some point, is just sitting in the studio sessions. Can't talk me either with you guys, is just like the environment. Like we're all just chilling. You guys are
Yeah.
doing your thing. You're giving input to something. Maybe Miguel was off beat, or maybe, something mixing, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with Nick too. Like I'm there, trying to come up with a creative strategy, and,
Yep.
Phillips singing, and it's just,
Mhm.
it's the best environment you could possibly be
Yeah,
in.
bro. I love the studio environment, especially when, because of course I started the solo studio by myself and recording by myself. I love that. But like having other people in the studio that, that I'm close with, because you know how I'm very weird with that.
Yes. Yes.
As long as I'm close with them and they're in the studio, we're cool. Like I have a perfect time and it's a vibe the whole time. You know what I mean? Like whether even when I could speak about when we made Who Over Us, me, Miguel, and Nikki.
Yes.
um, so it was so funny. I love this story. So all happened the same day.
Oh
Miguel
man.
makes a group chat with me and Nikki, like, um, yo, I want to do a competition track with you guys. Let's go bar for bar, basically, in a sense. Like, I'm better than y'all, blah, 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 blah.
You know how he be.
Immediately I respond. I'm like, yo, Nick, does he know who we are? Nick's response is the best response ever. He really says, I don't even know who either one of you guys are. So, hey, if you were the track, just know that I'm going to kill you guys on this track. And we were like, wow, like,
Oh man. And you three really did go bar for bar on that.
yeah, like we really went ham. And then Miguel already had his written. So everybody came over to my house to record. And what's it called? Miguel recorded first, laid his down. And then we just had his verse and the beat on a loop. And then me and Nick just wrote our verses. And it was funny because like Nick would hear me and then like he would make a noise like, oh man, that was hot, and then like go back to writing, and then I would do the same thing as he's sitting over there writing. I'd be like, wow, Nick, like I gotta go harder. Hold on, like stuff like that, and it was
Damn.
amazing. And then Nick recorded straight through, real easy. And then when I came to record, for some reason, I just kept like stuttering and like tripping up, right?
Yeah.
And as brothers, like we always try to push each other. So like Nick's in the background just making fun of me because he knows how I am. Like if you're gonna sit there and make fun of me, I'm gonna get it done. Like,
Yeah.
like there's no more games, right? So he just keeps making fun of me, and then I finally got it out, and I was like, walked right over to Nick, took the headphones off, and just hugged Nick. Like, thank you, Nick. I needed that.
It's that friendly competition, and like you see that on the track. Which, first of
Yeah.
all, if you have not heard "Who Over Us" by Miguel Ducos featuring Nicky Ra and JJH,
Yes,
you need to
sir.
stop listening. I will give you permission. Stop listening to the Morello Show right now. Go to Apple Music, go to Spotify, type in "Who Over Us," Miguel
Mhm.
Ducos, JJH, Nicky Ra. Go listen to it right now. Um, even though that got released, when was that? Was like November, October, something like that. It was
Yeah,
like
that
fall.
was a while ago.
Even though it was released last fall slash
Still a
early
banger
winter,
now.
song of the summer this year, no cap,
Hmm.
100%. Go listen to it. But I digress. Like you can tell on that track how you guys kind of push each other, and
Yeah.
it was insane. So speaking of releases though,
Hmm.
not that it's been like insanely long, but it has been a little bit since JJH has put out some music.
Yes.
What are we looking at in the
Yes.
future here? What are we working on?
So I can say that Loyalty, a single Loyalty featuring Speed, is going to be out in about 2 weeks. I'm just waiting on the cover art to come through, and I'm ready to
Okay.
submit it out. It'll be out in 2 weeks. And then as far as my album, right? So I will be releasing an album called The Life of JJH in June. Um, I'm aiming more towards the middle of June. Um, Worst case scenario, it'll be towards the end of June, but definitely June is what I'm aiming for because that's when my birthday is.
I was about to say a
June
good little birthday present from you to us. That's
June
love.
14th. Shout out all the Geminis out there. Um, but yeah, so I'll drop that then. And then I'll probably will be working on most likely a deluxe and then another project. Um, for myself personally as an artist, I found that I like working on more so projects than singles. Singles are cool and fun. But I like putting in so much work and effort into a project and like finally letting the world hear it. You know what I mean? And it's just like
Kind of
whole
like the
array of
culmination
stuff.
of a story rather than
Yeah,
just one track.
yeah. I like that more often than not. But I definitely will be having a whole bunch of singles. I definitely want to work with a whole lot of different people, like new connections I've made. And just put out some new music for sure. But the album will be about 15 songs. The deluxe will be 20. And then yeah.
There we go. I'm excited. So before we wrap up here, quick
Mhm,
synopsis of the life of JGH. What are we? I mean, obviously, it's going to be about your life, considering that's what's in the title. Don't mean to
mhm,
be Captain Obvious,
mhm,
but is there anything specifically that you want to mention without giving too much away that is something you're either proud of that you put into the album or a
mhm.
message that you have on the album or something like that?
Well, I'll say like something I'm really proud of about this album is I'm I'm a very closed in person and I'm telling my life story in such a way that it almost is like you're gonna see it through my eyes. You know what I mean? And I've been scared, not I'd say kind of scared in a sense of telling people my whole life story just because like I don't know, I just
No,
don't
that
like
too.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
me. So like but at the same time, I always wrote about my life and like even in my music, I would talk about it. But now with the life of JJH, I really want to give an in-depth look of everything about my life for the most part up until now. And yeah, you get like an inner look into my head, how I think a little bit, because I'm a little crazy.
I do know that, but I'm excited for the rest of the world to be shared with the
Yeah.
real JJH because you, sir, are one of the most creative people I know. You're an
Thank
inspiration
you.
to me, to everybody, from the work that you've done. I've seen firsthand because I met you real quick before we wrap up again. I met you
Mhm.
junior year of high school.
Yep.
Miss Howland's English class, which is a good time.
Uh,
Um, but then yeah, I mean we've stayed connected through high school. We, like I was saying in last week's show, we
mhm.
reconnected a few years ago and been brothers ever since.
Yep.
And I've been able to see you work firsthand, and it's been great. And I can't wait to get back to physically seeing you work firsthand again at some point.
Yes,
Um,
sir. It's
but
coming up
yeah,
soon.
keep doing you. Keep doing you. The Life of JJH coming out soon. And JJH, the man himself, thank you very, very, very
Thank you.
much for coming on
Appreciate
the Morello Show. We appreciate it. And by me, I mean me. I'm the only one who does the show. So that's
it.
fine. But yeah, Justin, we're running
You
out of
good,
gas
bro.
here.
You
We're
good.
running. It's always a good time with you, my man. Next
Sir.
week, Kellen Voss, my coworker from Fox 17, is coming on the show. We're going to be talking about some NFL draft stuff because that's coming up soon. Obviously, the
Hey.
Jets are probably taking Zach Wilson, the quarterback from BYU, but he's a Lions fan. We don't know who the Lions are going to take. They'll probably screw it up anyway. Sorry, Kellen. But also 30 other teams that are going to want to see maybe who they're going to pick. So we'll get into that. I'm very excited for that. Justin, thank you again for coming
Thank
on,
you.
and thank you guys as always for tuning in. Very much appreciated. Make sure to follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok on at the Morello Show. And I should probably wrap this up before I run out of actual English words to say. So with that, thank you guys for tuning in again. Love y'all. See you next
All
time.
love.